Hi, I'm Neil.
And I'm Kayla.
Welcome to the Crause Crew.
Welcome back to our channel and to our camp review for the Richtersveld Transfrontier Park, where we stayed for 4 days at 4 different camps. For those of you who are interested, we do have 4 different videos for these 4 different camps, and you can find them on our channel under our Overland Honeymoon playlist, or they'll be linked on the screen or in the description. The route review for all of them are at the end of those videos.
So you can just watch the route review if you want to get a little bit more detail on the route to the park and then the routes traveled within the park.
Yes.
Okay, so arriving at the park, obviously you got to check in at reception just to confirm your bookings and get a little map of the park. Then just remember, if you want to do fishing in the river, you need a permit, which you can also get from reception. And then at call it the entrance to the park, or where the reception area is, there's a fuel station, so you can get fuel, petrol and diesel. Then there's also a little shop, but the shop really just has the basics.
Bare necessities.
I think we would say if you were traveling through a bigger town, rather do your shopping there. And if you did forget something, you can always top up at the shop.
You can get like little things at the shop, like some drinks, maybe water,
some firewood, blurt.
I think they had like potatoes,
chips, onions. So they got like basics. I wouldn't rely on the shop to do your big shopping or meat or anything. I don't recall seeing meat.
Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah. Our first camp was at Potjiespram.
I don't think we were allocated a specific campsite, and the time of the year we went, it was pretty empty. I think there were one other.
Yeah, I think there were one or two.
One other campsite.
One, and then there was one lady that came walking past us.
Yeah, she came looking for her missing dog. So we drove around a little bit to try and find a nice camp and to try and get to the river, but what we realized is Potjiespram, I don't know if we went to like section 2 or 3. It was quite far from the river. You could hear the river, but you just like not camping on the river's edge. You can't get to it. The campsite was pretty sandy, so quite easy to get your vehicle level, dig a hole and drive into it. There are ablutions with running water, flushing toilets, showers, so those facilities are available there as well. Obviously our setup was totally self-sufficient, so set up our shower on the campsite with our hot water. The campsite is pretty well sheltered. I would think if there is wind, you'll be okay. There's just a lot of monkeys, so be careful to leave your stuff lying around or your rooftop tent open or your car open.
And I think we have seen some other YouTube videos where other people have stayed at this campsite, or not our campsite, but at Potjiespram, and they have had like a view of the river or something like that. So I think maybe if you drive around a little bit more, or I don't know where they found that.
Not sure. Yeah, we got there quite late and we actually just wanted to set up camp and just settle in for the night and get dinner done. So we didn't really explore the whole campsite. We kind of just drove until we found a empty site that looked quite nice.
It wasn't like that of an amazing campsite. It was okay.
Yeah, if I think what we both said,
like, it wasn't amazing.
What we were both saying is like if we were right next to the river, that would have been like really nice, but different, and we could do some fishing. But yeah, that obviously didn't happen. So we enjoyed it there, but
wasn't anything special.
Yeah, it wasn't that great.
Day 2, we stayed at the Whip.
The Whip was probably
our favorite
camp. It was really nice.
Really beautiful.
Again, it wasn't very busy. We didn't check out the whole campsite. I think only leaving the next day we realized that there's a lot more places to choose a camp.
We were kind of glad we didn't go there because we had a really nice spot.
Yeah, our spot was nice and quiet.
We kind of just drove in and then we saw this beautiful shady tree, and
we'll stop there.
we kind of went there, and there was just one other couple behind us, but they were like kind of sheltered behind trees, so we couldn't even see them. But when we drove into the camp, we stopped at the ablutions and we filled up our
we just filled up our water tank. They do have ablutions again, running water, showers, flushing toilets.
We were kind of like directly down below the ablutions.
Even though the camps are, what do you say, wild camps, they do have basic facilities. Obviously, if you were making a fire, you'd need to maybe just pack some little rocks or make a fire where someone else has made a fire. We didn't take any firewood with us into the park, so we didn't braai any of the nights there. But yeah, I think just try and keep it tidy, because it is sand. It's another sandy camp, and we were right on the water's edge. You take three steps and you got your feet in the water.
There was like a big pool of like quiet in front of us, and then the rapids were like downstream.
Below
so
and
at night sleeping was so nice, hearing the rapids and stuff too. The only other thing, I think, because they were still doing the ablutions and stuff, there were quite a lot of construction workers like going in and out of the camp.
I think prior to us arriving, we were there in April. And well, no, this was May by the time we got there.
This would have probably been
early May. I think February of that same year there was flooding, so I think a lot of the ablutions got damaged and maybe even washed away. So there was quite a bit of construction ongoing in some of the campsites where the guys were just rebuilding the ablution facilities. Fishing was good. Fishing
was good there, and just like
it was a really nice camp. It had a nice view. You're right on the water. We really enjoyed it there. We even said that if we had arrived a bit earlier, we would have gone straight to the whip and even stayed there for 2 days and skipped Potjiespram. And it's not that far in. So if you did get to the park, let's say like midday, it's an easy drive to the whip, and then a very nice day.
Day 3 we stayed at the Richtersberg campsite.
Again, the campsite is on the river. We arrived there, I don't know if maybe our directions weren't that great. We, let's say, turned off a little bit earlier, so you can actually, because where we saw the ablution facilities, we drove up to there, and then saw it's like up on a little hill, and only once we were there we saw further down right next to the river were some campsites. So we got back into the car, drove around, but then we actually saw there was quite a lot of people camping there.
There was a lot of people.
I think there were easily like 4 or 5 other vehicles or campers. And we managed to see a little spot where we could squeeze. Sorry. We saw a little spot where we could squeeze into and set up our camp, and we had a nice little piece of grass, and there it was like 1 step, feet in the water, also again on the water's edge, a nice big pool in front of us for some fishing, some rapids further up for the sleeping sound effects. But quite a nice little camp. Again, if it's busy, you might not get a spot there. We were lucky enough to have a small little spot. I think also the other campers there, I think, were all towing trailers, so they needed quite a bit of space to set up their camps. Obviously, we just had the patrol, so it didn't take up that much space.
Quite rocky.
Very rocky. So we had to pack a couple of rocks to try and get the car level, as level as possible. And then thinking about it, I was watching YouTube videos to just try and
say about the river.
Try and get a. While I was still doing the planning for the honeymoon, I only told Caroline this after we left or driving out of the camp. I didn't want to tell her while we were camping there, but watching some YouTube videos on the park just to get a little bit of idea of what the camps are like, what you can expect. I actually came across a video where the flooding happened in February, and the guys, I think it was their caravan almost washed away, or their camper trailer almost washed away. They were battling to get their car. I think they eventually unhooked the car from the caravan or their Jeep, got the Jeep out and watched or looked on as the water flowed through their camper trailer. I think that campsite, just be wary of the time of year you're going. Obviously, if it rains upstream, it might not be raining by you, but I think the water will flow, well, based on the video, the water flows pretty fast, and it happened pretty quickly. I think the guys were sleeping, and the next thing they knew, there was water running through their tent. I think even recently, didn't we watch a video where there was flooding again? But I think that's why the ablutions and everything's up there on the hill, because
it gets pretty full there when there's a lot of, when the river's
yeah, I think
full,
if you
those
watch,
campsites aren't even there.
yeah, I think if you watch any YouTube videos of the Orange River in flood, you'll see that the water levels pick up quite high.
Yeah.
And obviously these campsites are all on the banks of the river, so a half a meter of water and you'll be knee deep in water along the side of the river. So just be wary of that and the forecasted weather when you are camping next to the river. A very nice campsite, good views. The ablutions aren't too far if you are down at the river, but it's a little bit of a walk if you have to go up to the ablutions. Pretty much the same. They have a shower, flushing toilet, running water, and then I think like a little basin sink kind of thing outside the ablutions. So those facilities are available if you are not self-sufficient and you need ablution facilities.
And the fishing there was also really good.
Yeah,
Like we
fishing there was also
basically
pretty
just
good.
wherever we got to a campsite, we would just park and just start fishing. So it was also very,
was fun,
very
yeah.
nice though. Yeah. Day 4 was Sendelingsdrif, and we stayed in like a little chalet there.
It was our last night in the park and we had to leave really early the next morning to get to Crause. It was quite a big drive for us, so instead of setting up camp takes, well, we could pack up quite fast.
Yeah, by this point,
at this point. But when I was initially planning the trip, I just thought, okay, well, we don't want to be packing up a camp in the dark at like 5 o'clock in the morning. So we booked a chalet for our last night, which was actually really nice because it was really hot. And the chalet at least had an aircon, so we could keep cool. It was actually very nice. 2 single beds, I think.
Yeah. It was 2 single beds.
2 single beds.
Fan and aircon.
A little kitchen,
bathroom.
Fridge. Bathroom had a shower. Only.
Yes. Yeah, only a shower.
Yeah.
There was a veranda with a braai area.
A little table on the veranda.
The river.
Yeah, you can see
fence,
the,
obviously you can't go down.
The river's fenced off, so you can't get down to the water. You're quite high or far above the water, high above the water. But yeah, it's fenced off. You can look down onto the river and you can see the fish jump, but it's a little bit of a long way to cast. But yeah, also a very nice little chalet with all the basics you need, and the parking is right next to the little chalet at the like by the front door.
Yeah, and then there's also
partitions.
Yeah, partitions like bamboo or whatever it was
between the little chalets.
So it was pretty private, and there was, well, every other one had a nice patch of grass. We had sand because that was just what our honeymoon consisted of.
Overall, our general impression is the campsites were pretty good, ablutions were good, there was running water everywhere, so we could top up our tanks. We didn't have to draw water from the river at all.
Yeah.
There weren't really allocated camping spots, which I think might be a problem if it gets really busy. In a quiet time of the year where you can pick wherever you want to stay, that's really nice. I just think when it's busy, you might not always get a spot.
But we would recommend if you did go there, you should definitely stay at the Whip.
Yeah, the Whip definitely our favorite camp.
Yeah, really nice. So yeah,
that's what we have to say about that.
Yeah. Okay, so thank you for watching our camp review. Again, if you want to see the full videos, you can go and check them out on our channel or in the links in the description.
If you have any questions, drop us a question in the comments. We will happily share any information that we have or answer your question as best we can. But yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification button so you can get notified when we have a new video. That's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
Love you. Nice. Thanks for watching. Bye. Okay. 1, 2.
Let's make sure I have lipstick on my teeth.
No.
Okay.
Richtersveld Transfrontier Park.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say Richtersberg Park.
Okay. Day 3, we stayed at the. I can't do.
Should I say that? Yeah, you can say it.
You've been talking a lot.
Yeah.
kidding.
Oh, it's alright.